There's a red moon rising on the Cuyahoga River, rolling into Cleveland to the lake. There's a red moon rising on the Cuyahoga River, rolling into Cleveland to the lake.
Welcome to Building the Browns, Madden 18 TFGO franchise. Right here, I'm just in case. We're going to give you a little bit of preview of what you can expect from your Cleveland Browns. Just a reminder, last season they went 9-6-1, making it to the first round of the playoffs before losing to the Baltimore Ravens. What can they do this year? Last year was the first time they made the playoffs since 1995, and let's take a look at your Cleveland Browns. Starting at quarterback, number 17, standing at 6'5", 243 pounds, Josh Allen. This guy came out of Wyoming. He's been in the league for 2 years. This is his third year. Was a 7th overall draft pick back in 2018's draft. There was a lot expected out of him. Well, he hasn't really lived up to the hype. Coming in with a big arm. His first season, he only threw 5 touchdowns with 8 interceptions. And his second season, his first season as a full-time starter, he threw 14 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, and just under 2,500 yards passing with an 85.7 QBR. Well, if you look at his throwing power, you have a lot of expectations out of him, but he doesn't really wow you out there. He can move around a little bit. There was a lot expected out of him. Let's see this season if he can really do it, or if the backup, Stephen Forbes, out of Miami, can really do something about that. He's standing at only 6'1", but has a lot of the same skills, same speed, but he's just a little bit smaller. And we're just gonna see what he can do at quarterback. Maybe push Josh Allen to really show his true self or his best self, or maybe he overtakes Josh Allen as the starting quarterback. Moving over to running back, now we're looking at number 25, 7th year in the league, standing at 5'8", 224 pounds, a little squatty body. It is C.J. Anderson. Had a great year last year, his first year with the team. Put up some great numbers. 1,100 yards rushing, 4.2 yards per carry, 12 touchdowns. His best year ever. Some would call it, I don't know, a career year. Well, C.J. Anderson coming into this season has a lot to prove. Was last year a bust, or was it something that he can continue to do? We're going to find out this year, coming up with C.J. Anderson. Plus, not only is C.J. Anderson has a lot of work to do, you know, the running back position is pretty interchangeable. And last year, they drafted Jacobs out of Georgia. You know those SEC running backs, you know, Leonard Fournette. They look like they're coming in and they're ready to play. Looking at Omar Jacobs, got some decent speed. He knows how to get through there. He has a lot expected out of him. An early 2nd round draft pick, so we can expect a lot out of him as the year goes on. Look for him to get some carries in relief of C.J. Anderson. Now moving over to our pass catchers. And we got some pretty good pass catchers. You know, not great pass catchers, but let's take a look at them right now. All right, we got Josh Gordon out there, DJ Moore, Kenny Stills, Ryan Grant. But let's take a look at Josh Gordon real quick. 6'3", 225 pounds out of Baylor. You remember that, right? Big guy, downfield threat. He's didn't have a great year last year. Pretty good year though. Just over 800 yards receiving and 6 touchdowns. But I want to focus on DJ Moore. Now DJ Moore is in his 3rd season out of Alabama, standing at 5'11", a really good route runner. But we got to get more playmaking out of him. He only had 575 receiving yards last year and only 2 touchdowns. So, as you can tell, we're going to expect a lot out of him. But moving over to the tight end position, we got none other than David Njoku. And Njoku's a really good guy, really good receiver. Had a pretty good year last year. Not a great year, but I mean, good year for tight ends. 750 receiving yards with 4 touchdowns. But only 50 receptions. So we got to get him the ball more. And if we can get him the ball going, guarantee your Cleveland Browns will be scoring touchdowns. You know what that means. More touchdowns, more W's. Now let's take a look at our offensive line real quick. We still have Joe Thomas, 35 years old, in his 14th season, still putting it down at the left side of that offensive line. At left guard, we got Joe Bitonio doing great things there. At center, we got J.C. Treader and Brian Schwenke. Now, Schwenke has the ability to play multiple offensive line positions, so if someone gets hurt, he is really interchangeable, which is good for us. At right guard, we have Kevin Zeitler, and at right tackle, we have the young Connor Williams in his 3rd season. Oh, and I almost forgot, we hired Adam Gase as our head coach this offseason after Marvin Lewis decided to retire, surprisingly. Anyway, here's Adam Gase right here answering a question about his quarterbacks heading into the draft.
I haven't really dug into it as much as everybody wants you to at this point. You know, for myself, I'm still in the evaluating last year, you know, our scheme and free agency.
I guess we'll just have to wait and see. All right, moving right over now to our defensive line, which was, in many accounts, our strongest part of our team last season by far. So let's take a look at them. But before we look at who we had last year, let's look at somebody we just brought in, Olivier Vernon. Now, Olivier Vernon is a great defensive lineman. Picked him up in free agency after the Giants let him go because he just wasn't performing there. Well, their loss, our win. So we got Olivier Vernon. He only had 7 sacks last season, looking to get better numbers. But let's talk about our guys now. Our guys, we had Emmanuel Ogbah. Emmanuel Ogbah led our team in sacks last season with 21.5 sacks. 6'4", 275 pounds. He could play inside and outside, which allows him to really allow our defense to do a lot of different things. 21.5 sacks at defensive end is a great thing to have. So hopefully he can continue that. And of course we have the Myles Garrett in a contract year this year, looking to make great things happen, make big plays, get in the backfield. Last year he had 17 sacks and made the Pro Bowl. So, what do you expect out of our defensive line? I don't know. We still have Danny Shelton and Ogunjobi playing the defensive tackle position. So, we're going to see what they can do. Hopefully, Danny Shelton can get in there and do some great things against the run. Now, looking at our linebackers are all returning starters, and I'm pretty excited because our best player on our team plays linebacker. But before we get there, let's start at the left outside linebacker position. We're going to start with Christian Kirksey. Christian Kirksey is a pretty athletic linebacker. He can do all the things you need him to do at linebacker. So I'm really excited to see him out there on the field and really excited to see what he can do for the Browns coming back this year. 6'2", 235 pounds, and he is fast. And moving over to our right outside linebacker, we have Jamie Collins, who is by far the best player on our defense, and he can do a lot of different things. He can rush the passer, he can drop into coverage, he can cover tight ends, he can even cover some slot receivers. So I'm really excited about seeing what he's going to do, and we're going to use him a lot of different ways this year. But I just can't say how excited I am enough to see Jamie Collins Sr. this year. 6'3", 250 pounds, expect a lot of him this season. And I will be wrong to not mention our middle linebacker last season who led our team in tackles. How about that? Nobody really thought much of that free agent signing last season, but come to find out, turned out pretty good for us. So hopefully next season he could do, or this season, he could do some great things for us as well. Now moving over to our defensive backs, we'll start at the cornerback position. You see Eric Rowe there in the second year. Got a lot of young players there with Jackson and Malone, but Malone is our first overall draft pick last year. Well, our first overall draft pick, taken 21st in the first round. And let's take a look at him. Well, he's a pretty good guy, right? You see there, he can do a lot of good things. He's not the fastest receiver, but he's pretty good for a rookie. He's going to get a lot of playing time with the first overall draft pick. Standing at 5'11", not too tall, 182 pounds. So we're going to see what we could get out of our cornerback. All right, looking at our safeties, we still have Derrick Kendrick there playing safety. He's doing great jobs for us, so no need to move that around. Jabril Peppers is there playing strong safety, plays a lot of different positions around the field. And so we drafted in the second round Bennett Hoyt, standing 6'3", 216 pounds. A lot of scouts are starting to compare him to, I don't know, maybe Cam Chancellor. Look at that hit power. He will come down and lay the boom. Let's just see what happens coming out of Texas A&M. I'm really excited to see what Bennett Hoyt can do and the rest of our defensive backs. So, let's move right along. Boy, if you are a Cleveland Brown fan, you have to be excited about this season. There's a lot of great things that we can expect out of our Cleveland Browns. Don't forget, this is the Madden 18 TFGO franchise, year 2020, just in case here. And yeah, stay tuned. I'm going to give you a little week by week catch up after every single game and let you know what's going on with those Cleveland Browns. All right. Well, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more. It's all good here.